love lines, it's Bernadette. I am here with your pick a card tarot reading for Sunday, January 10th, 2021. Sunday. And I am like, I don't even know, y'all. I say this all the time, but the animal kingdom just never ever ceases to amaze me. So let me just show you the card for today. It's the carp, the common carp, and yet there's nothing common about this animal. Okay, first of all, Sundays are the crown chakra day. And this is the day that we meditate and we do our mantras and we get all up in our spiritual self, and maybe we walk in nature. I hope you're walking in nature. The sun rules this day. That gives us clarity. It gives us just this wormy feeling of yumminess. And a couple of days ago, y'all, I can't help what cards come out, but the Two of Pentacles came out inverted, the chimpanzee, right? Oh, I got hate mail. I got hate messages. Oh, Bernadette, I can't believe you're, giving us downer information, especially in these times, yak. And I'm like, I didn't make up what the rider weight means, y'all. Just, don't shoot the messenger. Well, what's crazy is my heart went out to these people that were just, because the ones that were triggered, they were triggered. I mean, triggered. And my heart went out to them because, y'all, I grew up poor. I've said that 1,000 jillion times. And I understand what it's like to be, freaked out about money or unsure about money, have a poverty mentality. I just did a reading on a gal, I don't know, a couple months ago. And the very first message that came through for her was, you just never, you think that when it comes to success with money, everything is always too good to be true. And anyway, we had this whole, the first part of her reading was about that, right? So where all of this is going today is this is going to be about your mentality. This is going to be about the choices that you make, what you will allow yourself to see. My financial life got a lot better when I understood that I had a lot of programming from when I was a kid, and my mom was so emotional about money, and I observed that, and then I observed, I absorbed. And in my younger years, I was a little wild, and so I just wasn't really all that responsible when it came to money. But in fairness to me, it just kind of always magically showed up for someplace. But I never had a plan. I never, anyway. So I've had a couple of businesses go through no fault of anybody. Well, that's a whole nother story. But it teaches you that you want to get your money in a row. You want to get your finances straight. You got to get your finances straight. Now, the carp is not all about that. Okay, when we look at the spirit, totem, and power animal meanings of the carp, then we also must look at the koi, because they're koi is a subspecies of carp. And so it's not only about money, but it is a lot about abundance and wealth and perseverance, the symbolism of a carp, right? So when we take a look at koi, because I want to quickly move through this money thing, but it just is crazy to me that the Animal Allies brought this for Sunday, so that really no matter where you are with your financial life, maybe you'll give some credence or some thought to where you want to be, where you don't want to be, and understand that you can be anywhere that you want to be. Really, truly, you can. I mean, you just got to be willing to see things for what they are, and that means yourself. So, I don't know if this was craziness. Koi are well, first of all, koi and carp originate from Japan, right? And I believe, if I have my koi and carp facts correct, even back to the Roman times, the Romans were actually some of the first to domesticate carp, right? And so um, the money that people will pay for a colorful or large koi is absolutely unbelievable. A large one that's like 2 feet long, they can go for $40,000 or $60,000. So that right there, you want to talk about value, what people will pay for things. And let me just say this. A bunch of you all are readers, are healers, a bunch of y'all. And a number of you own your own business. I know this because you write me, which I love. Thank you so much when you do that. And so there's always a worry about what to charge. And to me, that always goes back to a sense of self-worth. What is my time worth? Well, it's, listen, in the real world, we know that it is invaluable. Nobody can pay you for your time. There's not enough money in the world for that. But when you talk about, taking a look at the marketplace and what other people charge, I'm guilty of it myself. I only just raised my prices January 1st, only just, for the first time in 8 years for readings. And I still felt a little hinky about that. While I've got other, people, peers that are charging, $300, $500 for reading and getting it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just not there yet. But some of you guys really hem and haw over getting $50 to do a reading or a healing, or you just feel so weird about money. You say, well, just pay me whatever. You cannot build longevity on that, which is the other thing that Carp teaches. They can live like 200 years, you guys. 200 years. What? That is some craziness like that. But they go into hibernation when it's warm at the bottom of their ponds. Well, to get warmth for winter, let me just say that. And so this medicine that the carp brings to us about keeping ourselves healthy enough, wealthy enough, anything enough to live however long we want to live. Now, other people say they would not like to be immortal. And I'm like, but you already are immortal. Your soul is immortal, right? Okay. But in this life, I don't know, sometimes I think I'd love to be immortal, because as much as I talk to people from the other side, and I think I know what it's all about, I can't prove it. And it can be, you can sit around and do tricks with your head sometimes and think, So I don't mean, Carp does not mean, for you today, Carp does not mean longevity necessarily in terms of how long you're going to live in this life. But longevity in that, play the long game. If you want to feel and be stable and feel safe and feel I can breathe now with my finances, with my health, with my relationships, with my whatever, Carp, that's the way to go. Now, I read for a gal, I don't know, last year, a year and a half ago. And, I talk about the sexy spirit animal syndrome. And all I could see, and she was the very first one that Carp ever came for, ever for me, ever. All the years I've been doing this. And I was like, okay, I just have to get this out there at the first of the reading. I said, I'm not sure if I'm seeing a carp or a catfish. I'm inclined to think it's a carp because the whiskers are shorter. And she goes, and she just busted out crying. And I said, okay, well, let me deliver the message. And then, I said, Carp is telling you everything's going to be okay. You think it's not. You're scared to death, but it's going to be okay. Come to find out, she was going through a divorce, or fixing to go through a divorce, ugly divorce. It involved a lot of money, a lot. And this gal just had this deep, deep relationship with the carp in the pond in front of her palatial mansion-y kind of thing, right? And she would go talk to those carp every day and just ask them to help her and guide her. And I just loved that, because it just spoke to me of just such a, she so deeply connected with the ancient wisdom of carp and understood what they could bring to her in terms of, I always see them, when I see carp and catfish, I always think of like a Fu Manchu. And that leads me always to the Asian cultures and that like crazy deep spirituality that is, within a lot of those cultures, and the ancient wisdom and the abilities, of like the Shaolin monks and just, you see where I'm going with this. That's what they remind me of. They may not remind you of that at all. But for her, it was the lifeline that she hung on to be able to say to herself, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And ultimately she was okay. So when it comes to longevity, whatever you want to feel safe about, and you want to just be able to relax into it and know, okay, this part may require my attention a bit over time, but essentially it's okay. We're okay. I'm okay. Carp is great, great, great for that. The other thing that carp is really awesome for is, because they are koi. Koi is such a big part of carp. And because, oh my God, koi come in the most brilliant colors, but they're domesticated. That's always a sign for me that when I see, strangely enough, after that reading with that gal, all of a sudden carp started to show up on a regular basis, more regular than it ever had before, right? So when it shows up now, depending on how, like, whatever the information is, the animal allies are downloading into me, and today they are downloading that through me for you, you just can't let anybody take away your colors. You just can't. And even if you have to be domesticated, whatever that means for you, because let's face it, at this point, we're all domesticated. Very few of us are going to go, set up a yurt, or like hew out a cabin in the woods and, live off the sweat of our own brow. I'm not, and I love the woods and forests and trees and everything as much as the next person, probably more. I'm not doing that. So, I am not Ma Ingalls. So it's just such a call for you to keep those vibrant colors. And again, that's going to lead me back to your own value. How do you value yourself? And what colors do you want to show to the world? I did, when I was in Sedona a couple years ago, I had an aura reading done. And this gal took one look. Another friend, my friend was with me that goes on these crazy adventures with me. And she had every color I would have imagined that she would have had. Every dang angel, heavenly color, every purple, every blue, every this, every that. My paper looked like it was going to burst on fire. And it was every hue of this deep, vibrant orange and going into the golds. And this lady took one look at me and she looked at my aura reading and she said, and then she went on, and I was just blown away by this message. Well, those are primarily, I think, the colors that I present to the world, that passion, that creativity, at least I hope I do, because I don't have a knucklehead color, but those are my some of my favorite colors, as seen behind me in the mandala that I have behind me. And then I love that delicious teal color, speaking to the water. Why I go into that is it's important that you understand what colors you're presenting to the world and how valuable they are. And also, if you want those to have longevity, carp is an incredibly helpful spirit totem or power animal to do this. So, one other thing is carps, they don't rest. They don't stop. Even when they go upstream, they simply do not stop. They are like the Energizer Bunny on, I don't know, big, not even a battery, but on the biggest, like, I don't know, generator that you've ever seen before. And when you want to be an independent thinker and doer, you've got to keep going. I get asked every single day, how did you start? How did you start? How can I do things like you? Don't do things like me. Be smarter, because I'm a big one that tends to learn most when I whack my head up against something and go, oh, okay. I've gotten better about that, but it's always kind of been my way. I don't know why. It's nothing negative. It just has been my way of learning. Others of you are better at observing others and learning from the way they do things or their mistakes or whatever, and going, okay, well, I don't want that, but I do want that. So I have people ask me every single day how they can, be successful with their own tarot card, their own website, their own YouTube channel, their own whatever. And I give them it's the answer. Like, if you've ever seen movies and they're like, here's the secret. It's not a secret, but it tends to be a secret, which is you've got to be independent. You've got to be an independent thinker, an independent doer, and be willing to make the hard choices, and you've got to keep going. I am relentless. If I've got a goal in mind, just like carp, if I want to swim upstream, it will not matter how fast or strong that current is. It will not matter how many rocks are in my way. It will not matter how many people are standing there in the stream in their galoshes and their, fishing rods or whatever. I'm going to get to where I want to go. Not everybody is like that, but if you want to be successful, you're going to have to find that within yourself, and everybody does have that within themselves, and carp is such an amazing animal ally for that. So, on this Sunday, here are some things to know. It is about your value, but you might have some money coming to you, where just a couple days ago, the animals were like, hello, there's something not right in the finance world. Whatever that is, for the most of you, it has righted itself inside of you, outside of you, but it has, oh my God, y'all, it has turned the beat around. It's turned the card around. And carp is going to help you attract more of that abundance with real money than you might have thought before. So, I hope that's helpful. I hope you will pick up your copy of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a beautiful Sunday. And no matter how domesticated you have to be at the moment, you still have the capacity to do what? To stay wild.